Welcome to a War Selection Ranked. It's a 1v1. Now, I am fighting against Don't Touch My Tralala. And I gotta admit, before I get into this game, I did not know I was actually in a game for 2 solid minutes. 2 solid minutes. I had no idea. I was so far behind because I was I forgot what it was. I was on my phone. And I think I was browsing music, but as you see right here, look at this. I still have not built a single house. 1 minute in, 2, right there, 2 minutes and 40 seconds. I was AFK. Now the bright side of this is I had a fuck ton of resources that I could use because I was AFK for 2 minutes. The downside is that this guy had a much more fortified area. More houses already on his stone cutters and fight pit. He's only got what, 4, 5, 6, 7 houses in, and he's building his temple already. Meanwhile, I'm just now starting to build the temple. Now, luckily, because I had the resources, I was able to quickly build up everything. Although it was very, very unnecessary as to what I was doing. Very unnecessary. I see this guy's already building Stone Warriors, which is basically the Stone Warrior Rush. But I quickly was like, okay, I gotta get my shit together. I started pumping out slingers, fully upgrading them, getting up some defenses, bulwarks, but then I realized because I was so hell-bent on trying to like hurry up as well as quickly like reaching the next age without, you know, allowing myself those 2 extra minutes, I was severely low on workers and resources. So that's basically 2 minutes of production for workers I could have used. And I wasted it all. Now, this guy did try to attack me with Stone Warriors. Now, luckily, because these slingers are like, this is only 8 slingers, and they're really OP, especially when they're fully upgraded. Yeah. Plus, I had a lot of time to add up some defenses, so. And plus, it wasn't a lot of Stone Warriors. They were pretty unupgraded, honestly. He managed to kill 1 worker, but it wasn't too bad. So when this happened, okay, I was like, okay, I gotta get my shit together. As you see, this guy has fortified. He's fortifying himself. He's getting archery, so he's playing hardcore defense. And see, he built up a line of towers. Personally, I would never have, like, no one does this. Like, while it is semi-effective to do this in early on, there's really no point of building, for example, towers here, because you have this mountain right here that protects you. It would be much more like efficient to build towers inside your base than outside like this. Like 2 towers here, it would be fine because this is where we're like, you know, metal and gathering trees and stuff. And a wall here and a wall here. That's also good. He was playing smart, playing extra defenses. But the towers, they're like, you know, like maybe these 4 would have been good because they're protecting the barracks as well as, you know, the protection. But these 3 towers right here wouldn't be very useful. Anyways, so this was going on. Okay, so I was trying to. He had gotten the influence, and he was. He killed all of my spearmen because I was trying to build an outpost here really fast, but didn't work out. So I ended up taking my workers here and running the fuck away. Now, luckily, I had troops coming in, so I was able to cut off most of his army and actually kill a lot of it. And see, I managed to take out most of his army because they were chasing my units. So my one worker died, but it was okay. After that, I started making a forward base. I knew I had to take him out soon because, yeah, if I didn't, I'd lose. So I ended up getting some elephants. I really took a hit on my economy too. My economy was tanking, mainly on materials. It mainly had to do with my tree line. So I didn't have good tree lines. Like I couldn't build. I see. Oh, this is actually a bad example. Here. I can't show. Anyway, I couldn't build here because you can see there's hills. So I couldn't. So when I cut far enough into this tree line, it became major problems. Plus, it was so like mixed and such that I couldn't get a proper warehouse down. I still had some resources. I was gathering from this stone deposit, iron, of course, and whatever remains of this tree line I had. That was going to the point. However, luckily I was producing a lot of food. Because I did have quite a few. I had quite a few workers on primitive workers, and also a lot on fishing. So I was kind of happy about that. Anyway, I start mobilizing my army. Of course, it's me little time. I start mobilizing. He himself is starting to mobilize as well. Not as fast as I am, but he definitely is mobilizing. I also went ahead and got the influence upgrades. To that way I can gain the territory, because I knew I was so far behind that and plus my materials were so low that I really just couldn't go to the next age. I literally could not go to the next age. I was hurting so bad on materials. But anyways, right here I send in my slingers, and the reason I sent in my slingers in was to try and find out what he had. I ran as far as I could, and I realized at this point he was producing elephants and a lot of archers. So he was going the elephant archer strategy. I really wouldn't consider that a strategy, but I mean, it works. I mean, personally, I love these elephant archers. These armored elephants, God, they're amazing. These armored elephants are beasts at killing infantry. They really are, because not only do they shoot 4 arrows, get the upgrades on them, on these bad boys. Like, think about it this way. A Starbase does 14 damage. This is upgrade. It does naturally 13, but I got the upgrade, so it does 14, right? This elephant does an average of 14. Does each average is 14 damage each, right? And look at this board, just dies, and they can move. So basically, in a way, they can move, shoot, and the elephant itself can hit. So yeah, who wouldn't want it? Plus, it's armored, so it's technically like a mobile tower in a way. Anyways, so I launched my attack. I launched my attack. I just go ahead and I try to lure half his forces here, and I see he splits his forces here, and I take my armor, go ahead and take my elephant rammers, and I go ahead and I just walk right in. Oh, kind of walk right in. He ends up body blocking me a lot with his units, with his AZAPs. These AZAPs can't really do much against the elephants, except the mass, but they can body block, and when they body block, it's really annoying. Meanwhile, this guy had also launched his own attack with his armored elephants. Now, luckily, I had a few archers here, but yeah, this isn't gonna do anything. This force is pitiful when it comes to a single, maybe one armored elephant they could take it, but 4, yeah, no, I wasn't paying attention. I was actually so focused on this, I wasn't actually paying attention to that. I ended up doing a lot of damage, mainly to his structure. I took out most of his production structures, and the reason I was taking out his production structures was just to limit him. Yeah, but right here is when I noticed. So I started quickly building towers, as fast as I could, getting more Sarbass. I had more archery posts here, so I was pretty good. And when I realized, I ended up retreating most of my army down to go deal with this, because while this force couldn't break me, it couldn't destroy me, it could cause significant damage if left unchecked. So yeah, I ended up running the fuck away. Plus, I ended up shooting backwards with my armored elephant. So in theory, armored elephants are really good. This one has 11 kills. This one has 9 kills. So in theory, I think the armored elephants would actually be better if fighting maybe other infantry. I guess it wouldn't work against other archers, but it would work against spearmen. They went mass spearmen, just get some armored elephants and just keep making them walk around them. So yeah, that'd be good. Anyways, because this guy destroyed my elephant posts, I ended up just losing the position to make elephants. Plus, I was going India, so I needed those elephant houses back real quick. So I ended up running away, and I needed to regroup. So I ended up getting some melting houses to get some cannons. These cannons were important. Meanwhile, he launched another attack. And you see, he's getting a shooting range up here. I don't understand. Okay, I understand the point he was trying to build a forward base, but why did he build a shooting range first? That I didn't understand. Not at all. Why did he start building a shooting range here? Because I could have just, like, in a sense, like, it was just these units. Okay, yeah, I wouldn't be able to destroy it, take a while, but building a shooting range here isn't really the way to go. I mean, I would build a tower here first, but I guess it was to quickly produce troops in the front line, despite this has a reserve function. So, yeah. Anyways, he pushes through. He actually does pretty significant damage. Now, luckily, because I have a lot of units, and a lot of archers, I end up just beating him with sheer weight of numbers at this point. Like, sure, my troops were probably more vetted than his was. I came in with Bashiba because I had armored elephants, so they did some damage, and I killed a lot of his units, so I'm doing good. He's actually hurting way worse on his economy though when it comes to food, despite having so many more workers on food. But it may have been due to the fact that he didn't produce any, docks, whereas I had plenty of docks. But besides the point, and I think I realized Gator killed one of my fishing boats. Yeah, oh well. Anyways, I snuck some forces here, and I went ahead and I bombarded him from the coastline. Now, downside of this was, the upside of this was that he was, being bombarded, and I was mainly aiming for his production facilities because he was just spamming troops out, and I think the spamages would really hurt him because East Asia is really good unit, has really good units. Problem is, when you spam out units like this, it just becomes brutally expensive. But anyways, this guy goes ahead, he realizes, and he destroys my dockyards, which I didn't care because I had 2 attack ships. Not 1, 2, and I ended up bombarding most of his economy, of course. And I also went ahead and attacked. I had some cannons and a lot of archers. So as long as I had the range of the cannons, and I kept my archers here, I can just continually bombard it. Now, it probably would have been better to probably get some cannon towers instead, maybe? But I could pull back with the cannons. And plus, he does, like, mass spamming troops, and he has a lot of weapons, so in theory, it probably was cheaper and more effective, but regardless. Now, I tried to use my attack ships to kill some of his workers. It did not work out the way I wanted. I'll tell you that right now. I tried. Like, I killed a few workers, as you can see, but when they keep, like, these attack ships, when they're firing in their front guns, and they're only doing, like, 1 hit, sure, it's a massive AoE, but it's just, I don't like it. I prefer, like, the side cannons, because at least it has a spread. See, right there, that was, like, almost a direct hit. It only did, like, half damage. Anyway, I continued pressing my attacks, getting more cannons. Or, sorry, not getting more cannons. Getting more units. He does attack this, and now luckily I have, these cannons are actually really effective at dealing with elephants. They really are. Like, when it comes to the elephants, goddamn, these cannons are fucking amazing. Anyways, I continue bombarding his coastline. He does try to launch a few more desperate assaults. Unfortunately, he's going in with basic battle elephants. You should never go in with basic battle elephants. They are not good. Like, no variety of the battle elephant is good. Unless you get the elephant rammer or, of course, the armored elephant. Like, you should never just have a battle elephant. That is probably the worst decision anyone can do in war selection, just having a basic battle elephant. Unless you have, like, really no choice. Like, say you just spawn as being a camped and whatever, so it just spawns, so sure, you might as well fight with it, but never just go in with elephants. As you can see, I do significant damage to these cannons. I am shooting myself more. And I made the mistake of just like throwing my elephant rammer in there. Elephant rammers do have an AoE attack, but you should never send them on single targets. Anyways, this guy he gets smart and builds his own cannons. And I get, he starts bombarding my attack ships, and like these do significant damage to those attack ships. I swear. Anyways, of course, I get to the next age. I get some machine gun elephants. And I just start walking in, because he's getting a lot of cannons, and I don't like it. I really don't like it. So I end up taking my machine gun elephants and attacking, killing most of his, of course, cannons, because those cannons probably were his greatest, like in his arsenal. Plus, these cannons are actually ridiculously expensive. Or they're cheaper in some ways because they only cost metal. That's the only cost they have, which is good. So if you have a stockpile of metal and you're not using a lot, that's good. But when you go West Asia, you kind of want to save your metal as much as you can. Sure, because sure you probably won't need it as much, but some of these units, like the armored elephants and elephant rammers, they cost a little bit of metal, so not something you would have, and like just. You always need a stockpile, is what I'm saying. As you see, he actually used both of his monos, but he has a nice stockpile of metal. He is hurting on food because he's spamming out Janissaries. Janissaries are incredibly expensive and they should never be spammed out. I have learned my lesson the hard way. I see right here, I continue bombarding his coast, but unfortunately he starts destroying he destroyed both my attack ships, so disappointing, but they did their job. So right here he launches his own brutal attack. Well, I wouldn't say brutal. It's more of a massacre, because I just straight massacred his units, because I come in with 6. Now normally most people wouldn't get 6 for India. They are not a good unit necessarily. They're not a good infantry unit, but because they can not only be spammed en masse, they can and they do have quite a bit of building damage too. So a good group of them can do considerable damage. Plus they're not that expensive. They only cost what, 70 food, 80 materials, and 20 metal. Okay, they're not the most. They're pretty damn cheap in comparison to the others. So. They're cheaper than the Ulans, at least, but then again, that probably makes sense. Anyways, he goes ahead and I go ahead, realize he's out of metal, and I go ahead and kill all of his metal workers. I get more elephant rammer, or not elephant rammers, machine gun elephants, just continually pushing forward. I really do, I knew at this point it was game set match because he wasn't even in industrial. So he couldn't really do anything. I just go ahead and walk right in. He does have quite a bit of cannon though. If he had more cannon, he wouldn't have done anything. I don't know what he could have done in this situation. He should have pushed more, more up, further up, because it probably went better. But definitely had opportunity. But regardless. This point is pretty much game set match at this point. He gives up essentially right here. He starts attacking with his he tries to attack with his warehouse elephants, but then he realizes he can't. And I just go in and just finish the job. He does have quite a bit of cannons though. But his time is borrowed, because you see his metal is continually dropping. He could keep producing more and more troops, but because he ran out of materials, essentially whatever he has here. So he does have a nice stockpile of units, but nowhere near enough of what he's gonna need to break through. Sure, he could probably recover if he destroyed this force, but yeah, no, I doubt it. Right here, I do retreat, however. I do retreat here. That part I do know. Because I need to retreat because two reasons. One, he was beginning to get a lot of cannons. Well, I'm sorry, not too many cannons. But but I was mainly wanting to get a fresh load of reinforcements. I see more six, more elephants, more fresh elephants, cannons in the rear, and I just go ahead and went in. You see, I go in, butchered his units, and at that point, his game's a match. Now, I will say one thing. So, India has very little in the way of anti-armor. Like, the only thing they have is the wheeled tanks, but that's IR2. So if you can fight, so if you go France versus India, you could win if given enough time and space, because, you know, India has very little of course, anti-armor. But these six are really, really good at destroying buildings. Surprisingly, they are good at destroying buildings. I really don't know how, because they're infantry. I mean, I guess the Chinese soldiers, but at least they have the bombs, which makes more sense. I don't know. Well, I'm sorry. India does have the mortar elephants, but I honestly would place more trust in the 6 to kill a fucking tank than I do. Than I have faith in the mortar elephants, because let's be real, you need a lot of mortar elephants to even hope to hit that damn tank. So yeah, there's only so much you can do. Anyways, he tries to launch a full assault on me. Of course, it fails because I get more reinforcements. I always get more reinforcements. I also get the Fury of Durga. I got a few of them because I knew I was gonna win. I thought I was gonna have some fun. Send them in. Let the tigers go. Release the tigers! Oh my gosh. You know, I gotta admit. Okay, so while the Fury of Durga does have problems in some ways, I still place a lot more. I still like the Fury of Durga. The Fury of Durga, in my opinion, is a really good unit. Oh, also, look how much damage this ballista does to a battleship. That's a lot of damage. That's like, oh, that's a little over a fourth. Look at that. He took 3 shots of a ballista, took a battleship down. That's 4 shots. He almost killed the battleship. Literally 2 more hits would have killed that battleship. A ballista. Anyways. Of course, it's about, you know, the tigers mop up. Now, I will say, I'm still trying to find good use of the Fury of Durga. So the Fury of Durga, of course, has the benefit of just being able to fucking mass spam tigers at your opponent. So if you kind of want, so say your opponent has a lot of infantry, and you wanted to just, like, have some frontline fodder, or you just want to, like, keep spamming tigers, and hopefully, you know, maybe a percent of what you spammed out actually reached them and actually did some damage. Yeah, at least the Fury of Durga has some use. It's free tigers, essentially. It's free. It's literally free units. Free units, essentially, what the Fury of Durga is. It doesn't cost food or anything. And, you know, 10-second reserves? Yeah. For 5 tigers? Yeah. Again, like I say, the Fury of Durga definitely needs some buffs. I think his most prolific, most important buff is, of course, it needs more tigers. But it also needs a little bit more lifespan. And you see, you know, 10 seconds, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, right there. 10 tigers. See, that's a lot of tigers, right? But in my opinion, I think it probably needs, like, a little bit more, like 15 tigers probably, plus the bonus, or maybe it just needs like a bonus to the amount of tigers, because I know there is the tiger bonus, which does like make the tiger do extra damage, which is good and all. Which I know, like, you know, the IR2 is extra damage, of course, but it's not a lot. Like, it is like 1 extra damage, and then, you know, in theory, when you're spamming out tigers, that 1 damage could be, in theory, beneficial. But I don't know. I guess a Durga is more of a shock troop than actual units, an actual good unit. So, you know, I guess if you need that extra oomph, it could work. Anyways, but yeah, okay. So speaking of which, before I end it off, this guy did really good, and this guy did really good at defending himself. Problem is, he made the mistake that I constantly make, is spamming out Janissaries, pikemen, archers. When you go West Asia, don't spam out units like that, because it really, really does kill your food. It kills your food like that, and sometimes your materials. So you should not do that. Don't attack with battle elephants, with basic battle elephants. That's also a thing. And when you're playing defensive, you want defensive units, so archers mostly. And this guy definitely should have pushed up. He definitely had the advantage. He had a way bigger advantage over me, but I just pushed up with more elitish units than he did. So, and plus, of course, I made it to IR first. Now, if he went into IR before me, I, of course, probably wouldn't have won, depending on what he got. The machine gun scale events came out, yeah, I'm fucked. But, I would have probably been not too far from IR either, so. Probably would just spammed out archers and then just pumped everything into food, and then just got some more elephant houses and got more machine gun elephants. Oh, by the way, you should always get the trench mortar elephant. Again, I shit on it, but you should still get it. It's not that bad. I mean, it's cheaper in... Oh, never mind, it's not cheaper. It's actually more expensive than the machine gun elephant. But it is the basically only anti-armor unit in the game that India has, besides the wheel tank. The 6, of course, they do quite a bit of building damage, but... I don't know. And the Fairy of Durga, you know, standard stuff. I think I should have probably got more armored. I probably should have got armored cars, too. But I mean, in theory, it's okay. I honestly put more faith in the basic trench mortar. It's actually cheap. Wait, hold on. I just realized something. Hold on. This costs 350, 250, 50, 600, 300, 100. It is okay, so it makes sense why it would be cheaper to get the basic trench mortar, right? Than the elephant trench mortar, because the elephant trench mortar is probably more mobile and armored, of course. But for fuck's sake, it is cheaper, faster, and probably more effective to get the basic trench mortar. Because just from my knowledge of the trench mortar, it's probably better. You know, let me know your opinions. I think it is probably would have been better to get a trench mortar. But yeah. Oh, one thing I really but one more thing. For the love of God, developers, you don't have to fix the Fisher for West Asia, but for the love of God, at least give like you the option to like upgrade the Fisher into a basic like trawler. Or at least, you know, make a slightly different variant of the Fisher so you can make it into a trawler. It is so fucking bad having to get this Fisher, right? And only get, what, 50 food per? This is, like, and plus it gets a bonus, so it gives 75 because this is an industrial dockyard. That's so toxic, man. Please give some sort of bonus to the West Asian Fisher. Fishing is so effective. A lot of people shit on fishing because they want the farms because it's more effective. What blah 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 blah. Nah, fishing is more effective. Fucking West Asia needs a whole nother like fishing eco. There's got to be some sort of fucking boat out there that West Asia had. Yeah, West Asia had. Come on. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, and I'll see you on next time.